What's up, Nostalgia Maniacs? I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for tuning in, no matter where you're enjoying our content. Whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or another platform, or if you're tuning in live on YouTube or Facebook, we truly appreciate you. If you could like and share on whichever platform you're on, it would mean the world to us. Thanks for being a part of this journey. Now, as always, let's get nostalgic.
'80s glow, the '90s flair, joystick battles and pixel care. Each tale we tell, each laugh we share. It's a gamer's journey beyond compare. Nostalgia Mania, press start and see the games of the past where we long to be. Tune in each week, it's time to rewind. Retro memories for the gamer's mind.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into this special bonus episode of Nostalgia Mania. The ultimate slammer of games, movies, toys, memories that stacked up the golden era of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Get ready to flip back in time as we stack up the nostalgia and slam down the classics that made our childhood unforgettable. I am your host, the real Josh Elliott, and with me, as always, is the man, Derrick Stitch. What's up, man?
Not a lot. About to do this thing, buddy.
Hell yes, man. We got a special bonus. This is our second official bonus episode, third technically if you count our drinks of the 90s, which we kind of counted that as a full episode, but that was technically a bonus. We kind of veered away from the video games, and that's what we're going to do today as we dive into that logo. If you're watching at the bottom of the screen, the official licensed game of POGS, and we'll talk a little bit about the World Pogger Federation, which that's a thing. Did not know that until doing a little bit of research for the POGS, but we'll definitely jump into that. Appreciate everybody for listening. If you're listening on the podcast platforms, we're basically everywhere you can get podcasts. We're on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Castbox, all that good stuff. We're also each and every week we are live on our Facebook page at Nostalgia Mania. You can find us at YouTube at JSE Studios, and you can just search Nostalgia Mania and you'll find us there. We are not the Nostalgia Mania Wrestling Podcast. That's over there on YouTube. They do have some good stuff on there, though, but that's not us. We are Nostalgia Mania with the logo right above us, the link to the past. So you can find all of our video library on our YouTube page. You can find our video library or audio library on every podcast platform, as I said. And yeah, so we're going to jump into POGS as our bonus episode today. But Stitch, why don't you tell everybody listening where they can find you on social media?
I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitch. I'm on X. I'm on YouTube, TikTok, all of the above. So come find me on there at Derrick Stitch, Stitchamania, or Stitcha-effin-mania.
I like it. Speaking of Twitch, we are officially, that is the only platform we are going live tonight on this bonus episode. We're going to kind of keep these bonuses a little different than our normal content. Like we said, we're going to veer away from the wrestling, but we're going to, not wrestling, the video games, but we are going to, we're going to still go live, but only on our Twitch page. So it's at the real Josh Elliott. We probably eventually, because I mean, I only got like a handful of followers on Twitch. We'll probably create an official Nostalgia Mania Twitch page for everybody to go follow. That way we can gain some followers over there. For those of you who would rather watch Twitch than Facebook or YouTube. So, you ready to do this, man?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Did you play or did you have very many Pogs growing up?
I did that picture you showed, the graphic with all the Pogs, those Michael Jordan Pogs. I actually have Michael Jordan Pogs.
Do you?
I still do, yes. And I even have a Michael Jordan Slammer as well. So yeah, I still have all my Pogs, man. So think of like a book that you'd put like football cards in.
Yeah.
I actually have 2 of those full of Pogs. I even have my Pog game board, circle, whatever you want to, the board, I don't know, the game board, the piece, I don't know what you want to call it. But yeah, I still have it. It's on the inside of one of those books. Dude, for being as old as they are, my Pogs still look amazing. Because that little book that you put them in, it keeps them well preserved. And I've even got a plastic case that has all my slammers in it. So there's probably more than 10 slammers in there at least. So yeah. I've definitely played it, and I definitely have Pogs. So I wish I actually had them here to be able to show you guys, but I think they're at my mom's. So
yeah. Man, I wish I had my Pogs still. They had, I had those tubes that we would keep them in. I think I got a screenshot here for those live with those little red, yellow, blue tubes that I would keep those Pogs in. And then your slammers would, I don't know if the slammers, I can't remember if they would fit in those tubes or not, but that's how I had them. And I had probably 5 or 6 of those tubes full of Pogs. So I had quite a bit of them as well, man. Like, no, I don't know. Did you when you were a kid? Did you actually? So you said you had a board. I didn't even realize it came with a board.
Well, it looks like an oversized coaster. That's what it looks like.
So was it like a regular game board, or what was on it?
No, so you see the logo actually that you have at the bottom, or that we have at the bottom of our page here. That's actually kind of what it looked like, but it's black and white. So, and it looks very similar to that, but it's like a mouse pad or like a coaster. That's literally what it looks like. So think of like probably 2 or 3 coasters, combined, and that's about how big it is, probably.
Yeah.
It's not huge, just big enough to, put your stack of Pogs on there and, hit your slammer on them and win some of those Pogs,
That's wild.
So,
yeah. I'm sure I probably at some point had that. I don't remember ever having the actual board or the, whatever for it. But,
because me and my cousin, we'd play all the time because he had some, and he actually gave me his book of Pogs that he had. So that's why I even have 2 of them. And those poison Pogs that you showed on that graphic there, I have quite a few of the poison Pogs. I'm not sure what that thing was on the green and blue canister though.
Oh yeah. I don't know either. I was gonna ask you if you knew it. I've never seen those.
Are those? Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen them either. But yeah, those poison Pogs right up top there. I had quite a few of those. So
yeah. The poison ones look familiar to me. I had a lot of those with the skulls and I also had a lot with the 8 balls down there at the bottom right. I had quite a few with pool balls in general, but I remember the 8 balls. So but yeah, man, I guess Pogs was it got revived in the early 90s when we were growing up, but really it originated back well before our time, well before our parents' time. And it was actually an old Hawaiian milk cap game that, and it's something, as I was kind of reading up on this, and I'll chime in once I get to it, but it started, like I said, back in the 20s and 30s. Basically it was played with cardboard caps for milk bottles, and the players would stack them would stack them up and then slam, or AKA a slammer, a heavier cap to flip them over. And then, as we saw, it kind of revived in the early 90s, and it was by a teacher. Am I frozen?
No, why?
Because my screen is frozen. But anyway, sorry. Anyway, a teacher revived it in the early 90s because she was trying to find a kid-friendly, playground game to introduce to children, and they kind of brought back this Hawaiian milk cap game, which then now is called POGS. And it gained a huge popularity, and to the point to where you could pretty much any brand, anything you could think of, there was a POG for it for the most part. We talked a little bit about the World POG Federation at the bottom of the screen. That's the logo. I mean, there was huge competitions that happened with the WPF, and they sold over 10 billion POGs in 30 countries.
Wow.
They collaborated with they said over 100 brands like Disney, Marvel. The Federation mascot, Pogman, became an iconic figure among children aged 5 to 12. And today, the WPF continues to engage with fans through platforms like their online store and digital initiatives. So technically, the World Pogger Federation is still in existence. So
I wonder if people still play like professionally and stuff like that. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
And I'm sure they're probably all men over age 40 at least.
Well, yeah. If you're not a 90s baby, you ain't playing Pogs. But the reason I said that, man, is because have you ever seen, and I don't know if you ever have, but have you ever seen Squid Game?
No.
So this reminded me of something that could be in Squid Game, because they always, if you've never watched it, it's a show where they bring 100 people or however many people to a isolated building, and basically what you do is you play children's games, and the losers basically get killed. So you play red light, green light, you're getting shot if they catch you moving,
I've seen the clips, and they actually implemented it in Call of Duty. I have this really bad thing where I can't stand watching movies or TV shows if the voices are dubbed. So if they're not matching up to what they're saying, I won't watch it.
Well, you don't have to watch that. You can just watch with the subtitles.
No, I don't know.
That's probably the best way to watch it anyway, honestly, because I agree with you. The dub versions aren't usually as good. It's easier to watch because you don't have to read while you're watching. But I mean, this show, I would say if you're going to watch one, this is probably one to try. You get into it, man. It's a good show. I enjoyed it. And I think Pogs would be like a perfect game to introduce in, like if they were going to do Squid Game 3, or which I know they are. If they did a Squid Game 4, bringing back this childhood of the 90s game, and have Pogs be a game to where they're playing to survive.
Yeah.
So
might be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So you played quite a bit.
Yeah, I did.
Do you know the official rules on how to play? Or you know what? And even if you don't, tell me how you played, and that way we can see if that's actually how it's played out or not.
With it being so long ago, I wouldn't be able to tell you like the official rules or anything like that. So what we basically do is we take like however many pogs from, my set, and then, pogs from my cousin's set or who's ever. We'd kind of put them all together in a stack and then basically, use our slammers and slam it down to see who can knock over, as many pogs or whatever, flip them over, however. And basically whatever, I think if I'm right, we played it where when you knocked them over or flipped them over, whatever, knocked them off, you got to keep those ones. And then you went, I believe, until the stack was completely flipped or knocked down or whatever. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's essentially how the official rules are of how you played it. Basically you stack up 10, 20, however many pogs. You get, each one of you have your own slammer, and then you take turns, you slam it, whichever ones flip over, you keep, and then you restack them, and then the next person goes, and then you restack them, and until there's no more pogs. And, when it first was introduced, it was just a fun game to play with your siblings. It was a fun game to play with, family members, what have you, your best friend. But then it started becoming like more addictive. You got better looking pogs. You got the holographic ones.
Yep.
You got, like you said, the Michael Jordan ones, the ones that were really cool. And then you started playing for keeps.
Yep.
So like if you'd play your friend at school or you play your buddy or your cousin, then you'd start keeping what they had, or they would keep yours, vice versa. So actually a lot of schools banned pogs because they saw that as gambling. And so they completely banned it.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, when they took away the fidget spinners,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was more of a fidgety thing than a gambling thing. But yeah, you're right. They took it away. I mean, then again, I don't know, man, because some art, at least my kids' school, they allow the fidget spinners.
Yeah.
I guess if it becomes a problem and it's a constant thing, then maybe they would take it away. But they allow it if it's not a problem.
Yeah, well, because I can remember when yo-yos were really popular. There would be kids in my class. We'd go like on a bathroom break or something. Kids would literally all hover in a circle in the bathroom and just start pulling out their yo-yos and just sitting there and doing it, man. And I always felt left out because I never had one. And yo-yos are expensive. Like if you want
a good yo-yo is expensive.
A good yo-yo is going to cost you over $100, easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's
Yeah, my kids actually asked for a yo-yo for Christmas, so we got it. We got them one last year, and it was a wooden one, and it was actually pretty nice. It was a good one. Yeah. It wasn't $100, but it was like a $10-15 yo-yo each, and it worked pretty good, and it worked well. But it was easily taken apart. They tied knots and they screwed whatever. So they asked for another one this Christmas, and we went with super cheap, like $1 ones. Yeah, and you can't even freaking roll them damn things up. Like they just spin. You got to like hold the string just to get them enough, just so it'll roll up. And then once you do one or two flips, it's done. So
pretty much.
But I do have a couple commercials for Pogs that from the early '90s. So let's watch the first one here and see what they're all about.
Wow, that's crazy. There's
a lot going on, man. A lot. Imagine watching that in 1993, and you're just like, "Whoa!" Like, I want some of them Pogs. Like, and the craze of these things, man. They grew. They like instantly grew in popularity. I mean, you had. Like we talked about, Disney. You had Coca-Cola. You had Marvel. NBA, NFL.
Yep.
I think wrestling at some point got involved in it. You had freaking TV shows that were, The Simpsons had an episode on POGS talking about, I can't remember what they were talking about. Barton and his buddy were in his room and they were talking about POGS. I mean, they were on cereal boxes. They were giving away POGS in cereal boxes, McDonald's and Burger King toys. I mean, it got to the point to where they were so popular and it was so demanding that people wanted POGS that the market got so oversaturated with POGS that basically was inevitably the downfall. It was just so much so fast, and it kind of just people lost interest. People started moving. I guess it was good for a solid 5-6 years probably. I would say. And then probably by the middle to late 90s, kids started moving on to Pokemon cards. Beanie Baby started to get kind of big there. Video games, obviously. So pretty crazy. Did you have on your slammers? It's been a long time, so I don't remember exactly what the original slammers were made out of. But did you have a metal slammer?
Yeah, I have a few of them.
So
I have a lot of plastic ones, a few metal ones, like one that looked like kind of like a buzzsaw. I think it was like kind of gold with an 8-ball on it. So yeah, those are plastic.
Those are plastic?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay, so when I first saved it was a smaller photo and they looked metal, so that's why I saved it.
Yeah,
this was
because it's got that pearlescent look to them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I was just this was another reason why the slammers were or not slammers but POGS in general. Other than the fact that teachers thought it was a gambling aspect, was the metal slammers, because now you've got big giant coin pretty much that can cause damage and hurt people, and you can throw it at somebody, and so it became a weapon very fast. So
especially those metal ones, man. You get mad enough and you chuck that at somebody's head, oh crap,
dude. Speaking of coins, and I don't want to veer off too much, but I am going to, because it kind of relates to what we're talking about. Alberto Del Rio. Not former wrestler. He still wrestles, but he was down in I can't remember what country it was in, but he apparently still wrestles. And he came out, and I guess fans were throwing coins at him, and it hit him in the head or the back of the head or something, and he flipped and jumped over the railing, and I guess I don't know if he hit the fan or got in his face or something, so he got in trouble, and so much so that he got banned from that country for 6 months.
Wow. Alberto, he was in WWE.
Yep.
Wasn't he in TNA?
For a short stint, yes.
And then wasn't he in AEW as well?
No, he never went to AEW.
No. Oh, okay.
But I mean, to his, I don't like Alberto. I think he's, but I mean, you shouldn't have your freaking coins thrown at you. Come on. That's almost as bad as jumping the rail. Anyway, nonetheless,
sure.
Let's veer back in here. What? So you have more memories, I think, of POGS than I did, as far as what you have, because you still have yours. Mine are long gone. Yeah. Other than the NBA ones, do you remember any of the other POGS that you had that were pretty cool?
Yeah, the poison. I had quite a few of the poison ones. Man. Had this family of skeletons. It was grandpa skeleton, grandma skeleton, or something like that. It was just, lots of skulls and stuff like that were on them. I don't know, man. I used to have a big bag of POGS, and I honestly think my mom was like tired of dealing with them, tired of looking at them, tired of seeing them. So I think she ended up getting rid of them, selling them, putting them in a garage sale, something. But basically, like the big collection of Pogs that I did have it's gone. Like I don't have them anymore. Just what's in those 2 books, and then my plastic case with my slammers. But I think the majority of slammers were plastic. I think they were a majority of them. Because if you think about it, if you take one of those heavy slammers and you slam it down on that stack, you're going to knock over quite a bit. Like you're going to probably take half the stack at least, depending on how good of a hit you put on this stack. But yeah, did definitely have some metal ones. So
yeah.
And the slammers some of those were just as cool as the Pogs too. So
100%. Yeah. I mean, after a while, when the popularity got really big, then they started making like really cool slammers, and they would sell them individually rather than just buying the set of like, the NBA Michael Jordan ones. They would sell just individual slammers, which were pretty much the same cost as the entire set of Pogs,
Yep.
So speaking of cost, like they're not expensive, or they're not, they are expensive, but they're not like outrageous as far as like value today. Yeah. And I was gonna name off some of the ones that have a little bit of value today. The Lion King set, the full set, unopened Lion King set, sold for $160 on an eBay auction. The AC Comics with Venom specifically sold they sold multiple times, but the majority of the time they were sold between $200 and $400.
Wow.
And then this one's wild. I don't know if it was actually sold, but the full Jurassic Park set is currently, at least of the list that I saw, was currently listed on eBay for $20,000. Now, it was not, I did not say it sold, but it was listed online. Wow. And they said previously it had been $500 to $600 sold, but somebody had it posted unopened, No. The other ones were opened and like used. This one was an unopened, unused Jurassic Park set for $20,000.
Wow.
So
I bet my brother would like that since he's a big Jurassic Park fan. Like that's his favorite movie of all time. So
rightfully so. It's a damn good movie. All of them are, honestly.
I've heard the book is better, but I'll never read the book. So
interesting. So, I got a little section here. Would you bring Pogs back? It sounds like the World Pog Federation is still in existence and still running tournaments and things of that nature. You can look them up probably at the worldpoggerfederation.com or just Google them and check them out. It was a fun game. I really enjoyed Pogs as a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't play a lot. I had the Pogs and I didn't play for keeps much because I didn't have anybody who had it. Like if Jacob, my best friend, would come over, he didn't have Pogs, so we just play with mine. Yeah. So, it didn't get played with that often, but I remember those tubes that I had. Yeah. 5 or 6 of those full of Pogs as a child. So, man, what a trip down memory lane.
Yeah. I definitely would bring Pogs back. It wouldn't be as popular as it was back in the day. But I still think there would be some fun there. Especially if you have kids that you can play with. So yeah. And the cool thing is you could even go, a step further with the designs and stuff that you could put on the Pogs. So
yeah, 100%. Like you could have some fun with it, man. And maybe not change the rules at all, but maybe like tweak them to say, hey, here's the original game, but maybe here's a here's a secondary way to play if you want to play it like this, or you can, you can do teams or what, whatever. Start introducing some new ways to play to kind of gain some interest.
Yeah, kind of like that brings like Uno. That would kind of be like a prime example. They have all these new ways of playing Uno, like Uno Flip and Uno Dare. So yeah,
the other day you brought you showed me those Uno Flip cards, and I've never seen Uno Flip. Like they showed, I don't know what she had the icon. I said, "Oh, that's a reverse card," and she's like, "No," and then she flipped the card over, and there was another value on the other side. I'm like, I've never played that.
Yeah, I haven't either. And then all these and then they're coming out with the Uno cards, where if it's got like Ghostbusters or Mario, which I actually have a Ghostbusters Uno. They actually have like a special rule with the deck. I don't, it like does certain things or something, but yeah. And it's usually, exclusive to that deck of cards. So
nice. Well, I guess there's no place better than now. I mean, we're pretty much at the very end of the episode. I do have one more POG commercial, and then we will close this bonus episode out. Let's take a look. Both commercials very similar. Lots of flashy, quick, grab your attention type commercial.
Yeah, you can't, just based off the commercials alone, like you wouldn't even really be able to tell what POGs even are. Like what it is, what it does, what's the point, like it doesn't.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Like knowing what they are, like I know what I'm looking at. But if you have no idea what POGs were, you'd be like, what in the hell is this?
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, that last commercial at least showed a little bit of what happens, but even then you're like, what are they doing? And then, then it goes back to the flashy, half a second clips playing over and over and over. So
yeah, it's weird because ironically, my cousin Matt is the only person I can remember actually playing POG with. I don't remember playing it with anybody else. So
that's kind of how I am, man. I don't remember my sister ever playing it with me. I know she knew. I mean, I know she was in the house, obviously, with me having the POGs.
Yeah.
I barely remember playing with my neighbor, but he didn't have them. We just played with mine, so it wasn't. It wasn't a game we played very often, but for whatever reason, I had a shit ton of them. So.
But, yeah.
All right.
I remember having a big old like Ziploc bag full of them, just full.
Yeah.
So,
man, good times, man. Good times. Well, that's about it. Appreciate, we're just over 35 minutes or right at 35 minutes. Appreciate everybody for listening in, taking this trip back to memory lane with us. It is fun. This is what we do. I want to do more of these episodes where we're not talking specifically about a video game, just something that we both find nostalgic from the 90s, early 2000s. We kind of mentioned it on last week's episode. Like, I'd love to do like a Blockbuster episode. I'd like AOL and AIM, AOL.
Oh yeah.
All that good stuff. So we'll get to them. We're gonna record some. We're gonna record some bonus episodes, release them here and there. If we can't do an episode live, then we'll sprinkle in some bonus. If we are doing a bunch of live episodes every week, then we may just randomly drop these for you guys, just as some kind of bonus content. So, All right. Well, with that being said, that's all I got. Stitch, you got anything else?
No, I think that about covers it.
All right. Again, Appreciate everybody for tuning in, listening in. This is the real Josh Elliott with me, as always, Stitchamania Stitch. We will catch you guys next time. And as always, let's get nostalgic.
Through the 80s and 90s, the games we all know.